So far, in our 5 Things series, we've only really looked at personal products for individuals. The zone-wired and wireless earbuds and the Logidock. If you haven't seen any of those yet, do check them out. They're very informative and entertaining, according to my mum. But to be honest, she did have one eye on a tipping point, so you should probably judge for yourselves. But I digress. The point is, it is now time to take a look at a group product for groups of people, obviously. Right, we'll move on. And the group product that we're focusing on today is the TAP IP. Before we get into it though, it's worth mentioning that Synergy Research now has Logitech as numero uno in the video communication space. And that's from a revenue and units shipped point of view. That probably has a lot to do with the success of the meetup, which then led to us building complete room solutions. We're certainly not going to get complacent though. There's always a way to make things easier, simpler, and better value for money. And that's where TAP IP comes into the solution. In this short video, I'm going to take you through the 5 things that make TAP IP stand out from the competition. People always say Logitech TAP is just a fancy remote control, isn't it? No, it is not. I'm sorry, Pete. I'm sorry, I just get passionate about it. You know how it irks me. Yes, I use the word irk. Right, a remote is a fixed device. We've all got one. They've generally got about 340 buttons, only 5 of which get used. They're confusing and scary, and if you ever spill water on them, I swear they multiply. I have at least 3 at home that I don't recognize or remember buying. They also have a tendency to go wrong, and nobody wants that in a meeting. The TAP IP is one device that controls everything in the meeting room. Speakers, cameras, laptops, whatever's connected. It's simple and straightforward as well. Because it's touchscreen, you're only given buttons that are relevant. For example, you won't be given a join meeting button while in a meeting. That would be stupid. And talking of the touchscreen, it's 10 inches. Compared to the competition, that's 20% more real estate, as our friends across the pond would say. That might not sound like a big difference, but the smaller the screen, the easier and more likely it is that you'll press the wrong button. Despite that sumptuous 10-inch screen, it is not comparable to a consumer tablet. I'm sure that some might be tempted to spend £400 on a half-decent tablet, maybe another £100 on a dock. That is ridiculous. But your common or garden tablet is not designed to be plugged into the mains 24/7. They're battery-operated devices that are designed to cycle the battery from empty to full over and over. Keeping them plugged in actually has a detrimental effect on the battery. In some extreme cases, the battery can even fail, and like an inactive middle-aged man's midriff, begin to swell. This can lead to a fire. The battery, that is, not the man's midriff. I don't want to alarm anybody. We're not the only company to realize this, of course. Many others have filled the space with similar offerings, but most of them are a bit, well, bulky. They're also generally custom control systems. Usually having something customized is a good thing. A custom suit, custom jewelry, a custom cushion with your face on it that you give to your partner as an anniversary gift, which she proceeds to throw back in your face before storming out for several days. Probably. Sorry. In this case though, custom is not so good because it means that every meeting room is bespoke, which means that every room requires custom programming. And if you want to change anything, it becomes very expensive. Change, though, is something that Logitech is bringing to the meeting table. If your organization makes a decision that you're going to move from one platform to another, going from Zoom to Teams, for example, you can move over without changing all of the hardware. For the risk-averse among us, who always eject the USB stick before removing, this is ideal. It means that we don't have to worry about spending a fortune on the change of hardware further down the line. To further enhance your meeting experience, the TAP IP benefits from enterprise cable management. This means that the one wire that powers TAP IP and connects you to the network is locked away out of sight. Not only does this look neater, it also means that other people are less likely to borrow the connection. I'm already late for my meeting. I don't want to have to play hide and seek with the Ethernet cable and then wait for it to power up because you didn't reconnect it, Keith. You know who you are, Keith. You ruined my Wednesday. We're not trying to reinvent the wheel here. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. The grass isn't always greener on the other side. Pick whichever cliche you want. The fact of the matter is, when comparing the TAP and the TAP IP, the user experience is still the same. That means that almost all of the major features and functions are present. One touch to join is still there. It still has a 10.1-inch screen. It still sits at a 14-degree angle, which keeps it nice and low to the table, and the motion sensor is still on the front. All of the mounting solutions that you're familiar with are still available. Table, riser, and wool, they're all there. Personally, having had a play with both the Tap and Tap IP, I could not tell the difference. I mean, I'm probably not the benchmark here. I actually thought that Tobey Maguire was still playing Spider-Man, but apparently now it's someone called Andrew Garfield. Sorry? Tom. Yep, Tom Holland. Don't know. Anyway, the point is, if you like the Tap, you'll like the Tap IP. We've got all the way down to number 5, and we haven't really discussed what makes the Tap IP different to the Tap. The keen listeners among you might have noticed that earlier on I alluded to it. The Tap IP offers power over Ethernet delivery. This means that it's a device with only one wire. Just plug the Tap IP into the network, plug your device into the network, and then connect them via, you guessed it, a USB cable. Just kidding, via network. There's no need for an abundance of wires, hence the name, Tap IP, as in IP networking. Clever, right? The original Tap is a USB screen. Tap IP is a computing device. As such, it has an operating system, Logitech's Colab OS to be precise. This means that it can be controlled through the sync management platform. And this is what really differentiates from the original Tap: connectivity. Tap IP has been introduced because the customer spoke and we listened. They asked for a device with only one wire, and that's exactly what the Tap IP offers: power over Ethernet delivery. However, Tap USB is still available. What customers choose will depend largely on the platform that they use. The important thing though is that the choice is theirs.